Hey y'all, thank you for tuning in to the Voices of Change podcast with coaches Monique E and Coach Danielle. Stay tuned for today's episode.
My God, what a season we have had during this podcast.
Yes.
Loving it. Enjoying life with Coach D. You hear me?
Yes.
We have had an amazing time. We have enjoyed our guest. I hope you all watched or listened to episode 7. It was an amazing episode. Now listen, fam. We are going to be talking about relationships in this episode. It may feel uncomfortable to some of you. However, we're going to say what we say, and it is what it is. So, with that being said, Coach D, I want you to take it over and give us the tea.
Listen, I'm about to grab my green water mineral drink here and take a sip before I start, because this right here,
oh my God.
It blew my mind, guys. It blew my mind. Like, I'm just in awe of what is happening in our world today with, we had simple things as in, I knew about open relationships, of course, monogamy, and, even polyamorous. I knew about those things and how they existed, polyamorous. And under that follows all these different types of relationships. But we're used to monogamy. That's like normal. People say that's normal. Of course, you know what that is.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about open relationships and what our thoughts are on that. Open to me means you're opening the door to a lot of things you may not like. Okay.
So when you say open, let me ask you this: are we talking about pornography and different topics like that? Or what does actually open mean?
Okay, so let's go back. So we're going to talk. Okay, so I'm going to give you the definition of each one of these relationships, and then we're going to talk about them. Okay, because I had to read the definitions myself, because I was like, what is that? So we know about monogamy. Of course, monogamous relationship is, what we call traditional relationship. It's when you have a relationship with one person, right? And you guys are exclusive with one another, right? So we call that normal, quote unquote. Okay. Open relationship. An open relationship means that the relationship is not limited to just two people.
Wow.
The people are in one relationship but open to dating other people as well. That's why I said with this one, you're opening the door to a lot of different emotions. They say in an open relationship, they say in an open relationship there are limited boundaries. And honey, listen, ain't nobody got time for all that. Listen, I mean, I don't understand it, because women are emotional creatures, right? And so I don't know how people can say they don't form any type of emotions, when it's concerning in a relationship. But that we're going to get to that. So polyamorous is the number of people is more than 2 in the relationship. Other people are welcomed into the relationship, and it is not considered cheating because everyone is in a relationship together.
So basically they have a common understanding of what is happening.
Yes. They are all in agreement to dating one another, I guess. But I did see on a show where the women didn't date each other, but they were with the male. And they all lived together.
So this is an orgiastic?
Yeah.
Orgiastic relationship.
Yeah.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Basically. So under that fell all these other non-monogamy relationships. So there's one called monogamish, right? This is where someone is mostly monogamous but might be open to sex or romantic relationships with others, which is basically like the open relationships, right? Polyflexible, Lord have mercy. This is when someone is happy with being in a monogamous or a non-monogamous relationship. They're satisfied in both situations.
So they're bi. So they're bisexual
They're
in a
taking
nutshell.
they're okay with being exclusive, and they're okay with not being exclusive. So they're flexible. So to me, I'm gonna get into that too, because to me that seems like you don't have a mind of your own. It's like with the other person, whatever they feel they want, then you're okay with no
Is what I'm
boundaries or
hearing.
anything like that. Right? That's what I'm getting from it. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Listeners, if you know more about it, please let us know.
Please
Um,
share.
please share. And then there's another one called Polyfidelity.
I'm getting tongue tied just trying to understand it. I mean, like poly what?
This is where all partners in a group are equal and agree not to have sexual or romantic relationships outside of the group. What group?
Right. If we poly together,
Okay, what is happening?
it's too
I
much.
don't know. I'm confused. Okay, so here's another one, triad. It's also called a throuple. This is where three people date each other.
Three, girl, three people
And,
dating
and
each other
I'm three people dating each other. Listen,
of the
I am
same
not.
sex,
This
of
is.
opposite sex. What are we doing here?
It doesn't say. I guess anything flies. And listen, I'm not here to judge anybody, because if I had friends and they were involved in this, listen, they know that I'm outspoken. I would say I don't understand this, but I'm here. I love you. I support you, but I'm not understanding. I'm
Yeah,
really not.
where's your
Because
mental capacity at with all of this? I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to get into that because this doesn't make sense to me at all. So then there's also one called quad, right? So, like a triad, a quad is a relationship involving four people. Lord, we're just going up and up and up. Like, when does it stop?
it's just,
When does it stop? What is
so
happening?
basically, I can have
So,
sex with you. I can have sex with your friend, her friend's friend,
mhm,
his friend's friends, and we just all gonna have sex together and relationships together. That's basically all what
right.
I have been hearing.
Yeah. And my thing is I want to know what, not you, but these people that are involved in these things, like, what is your definition of a relationship? Because it seems like it says a quad is a relationship involving four people. Like, is there a schedule? Like, what is going on?
Right.
Like,
My
I'm
ship gonna sail with
confused.
your ship, basically.
Right. Okay, so on Mondays you're with me, Tuesday you're with John, Wednesday, if John's friend is not involved, then I'll take your day. Like, what is going on here?
And that's
I
that's
don't
that's that's
understand.
that's really scary because you have to understand that, like you said earlier, women have
Mm-hmm.
emotions. So basically, the women
Right.
have no heart or no
Mm-hmm.
feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have to get a little bit deeper into this and get a better
Yes.
understanding because this is wild.
This is very wild. It blew my mind. But wait, it gets better. It gets better. You ready for this one?
Give it to me.
This one is called VEE.
Oh,
Okay?
V. We're gonna V tonight.
Also V, also known as a V, or without the EE, I guess if you want to get classy and nasty with it, it's just V. This is where
All the way rich.
one person one person is dating two people, but those two people aren't dating one another.
What?
Okay, so I'm looking at the V, and I guess this one person is the one that's connecting the
Controlling
two of
the
them, but those
relationship.
two,
Right.
yeah, those two aren't, they aren't messing with each other.
So V is the dominant of the relationship. I control what goes on around in this relationship. So V is the headmaster. V is the one in control. V is the go-to person. Do we have an X,
This
a
is
Y,
very,
and a Z?
child. They got the A through the Z, because I'm confused.
I'm so lost.
I'm confused. I'm really confused. Okay, so this one here is really mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna hone in on some of these guys. So don't think we're just gonna fly through them. I just wanted to give you guys the definition so you can kind of understand. I still don't understand, and I'm looking at the definition. Okay, so it is very complicated. There's one called unicorns. Interesting. Sometimes considered an insult, the word unicorn is used to describe a person who has sex with couples. This is usually a bisexual or pansexual woman who has sex with a couple that includes one man and one woman.
So she's the
Huh?
mistress. She's the mistress.
What is happening?
She's the mistress
Yeah.
with the wife. She's the mistress with the husband.
This is mind blowing. Like, who? I want to know who sits at the round table and says, "We need to come up with a definition for this," and it gets approved. Like, what is happening to our society? What happened to being faithful? What happened to, and now I guess now, this is my thing. When I was watching this show, and it's not called Sister Wives, I forget the name of the show, and if I can find the clip, I will insert it here. Where the guy, the male, he had a wife, and then he started dating another girl, and she moved in with them.
Okay.
And now he wants to date another female to try to bring her into the home. And so when they interviewed him, you know how they have the show, right? The reality show, but then they interview each person and they ask them questions, and then they insert it into the show. And the interviewer asked him and said, "Well, why do you want to bring another woman in?" And he said, "Well, the financial benefits, having a hot meal every day, and not putting that one task on one person." And they had kids too.
Oh, wow.
Mind you, they had kids. And he says, "Oh, the kids understand and blah, 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 but the women cannot date other men." Okay. And so when they also interviewed one of the women, which is the girlfriend, because in the United States, of course, you can't marry more than one person. They asked her, "Well, do you ever get jealous?" Right? And she said, "I do." So my question is, why would you put yourself in that predicament? Why would you put that emotional stress on yourself? Why? And it's just some questions I had.
My one question, Coach D, and I know people are going to wonder why I'm asking this, but I have to know. And you probably don't even know. Are they having protected sex?
Right.
It's like nobody believes in these three words: AIDS with an S.
Yeah, and I don't think they do, honestly. If they're all living together and they say they're in a committed, whatever that means nowadays, relationship to those in the home, they're probably not using it. I can guarantee they're probably not using any type of protection.
Wow.
I can't state that 100%, but that's my feelings on it. And my thing is, I just don't understand. I would like to interview those women myself and talk about the emotional part of it.
Right.
Do you feel you're in this relationship because you have been cheated on before, and now you feel that if you allow him to have more than one, he won't go outside of that, and you're accepting it because of that? Like, there's so many questions I have for these women.
It is definitely a mental blockage somewhere where you just your confidence, your trust. This is deep.
Yeah. It's really mind-blowing, and I would love the opportunity to have a conversation with them, because too, why does the male feel it's okay for him to have multiple women, but it's not okay for them to date other men? And the women said, this is what they said, which a lot of people don't believe. The women said they don't date each other, like they don't sleep with each other. They all have their separate bedrooms. The male has his own bedroom, so he can go to theirs or they can come to his. I'm just not understanding that. And so, like, is there a schedule in the home? Like, who do you sleep with on Monday and Tuesday? And then I'm just really, like, I would love some answers.
So he can.
I'm not sure I'll be satisfied with those answers.
He can sleep with any and everybody in the home on any particular day, at any time of the day. And this is okay.
Right. That seems pretty selfish,
in my opinion. A problem.
Yes, it's a huge problem.
It's an issue.
And Yeah, and I just don't get it. And I was like, wow, like that is deep, because there's a lot of emotional, I feel, trauma that has happened, and people are going to say, Danielle, you're looking too deep into it. And I just want to know, what are you thinking? Because
Yeah.
what are you thinking? Because women, I'm not saying men don't have emotions, but women are known to be emotional creatures, right? We wear our emotions on our sleeve, and um it is bad enough that it's happening, men and women are cheating on each
Right.
other, but now you're accepting this and calling it okay. And what type of conversations are you having with your children?
And see, I can tap
If
on a lot of this because I came out of
Mhm,
a lot of this. And at the
mhm,
time, mentally I wasn't okay. And I'm just being so honest. I wasn't okay.
mhm,
And when
mhm,
your mental is not okay, you do strange things, and you do
mhm.
things
Yeah.
that you don't even consciously, or I should say, you are not consciously aware of. And that is an
Mhm,
issue. And that's
mhm,
why we as coaches and you as a therapist, we hone and we
mhm.
drill in on mental issues, and we drill in on
Yeah.
mental therapy, because these people need therapy, because there is an
Mhm.
issue, and they don't even realize it, because guess what, they're in a group that says it's okay.
Right.
It's okay to
Right.
sleep with my man, he considered your man, this is all of our man, but we cannot go outside of him.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
mental issue.
It is. It's almost like a control issue too with the male.
Yeah,
Like he feels like he has to be controlling.
he's the
And what is
dominant
this
one.
doing for him? Right. What is this doing for him mentally? Is he lacking in certain areas where he needs this dynamic so he can feel like a
it
man and feel like he's a provider, and his self-esteem is he's getting his pat on the
it
back?
lifts
Like
up
it's
his
something with
ego. It
him.
lifts up his ego.
Yes.
It tells him that,
Exactly.
oh, I'm the man, they do as I say,
Mhm.
I have them under my
Mhm.
control, and
Right.
I'm going to go out and get more. He's never going to be
Mhm.
satisfied, because guess what? They
Right.
don't have a say so. They won't voice their
Mhm.
opinions. So he's never going to be
Exactly.
satisfied. He's always going to have an itch and a yearn for more. More of a woman,
Right.
more of her stuff. If you know,
Mhm.
and all of y'all know what I mean.
Mhm.
That's just what it
Yes.
is. His
Mhm.
greed, his
Mhm.
dominancy will never give him um satisfying desire of just one woman.
Mhm.
And then it
Right.
goes to this for me: did
Mhm.
somebody fondle him or mess with him when he was a little boy?
Mm.
It goes back, I don't care
Mm.
what anybody say, it goes back to childhood.
Mhm. Yeah. Yep. Yes, exactly. And yeah, he needs therapy. They need
Yeah.
therapy. Um, to figure out why they're doing this to themselves. And I just don't understand. And at some point, I've seen it also on the Sister Wives show, where one of the wives, she walked away. She's like, I can't, I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm like, well, her eyes are open. This has
Mm-hmm.
been going on for
Yeah.
years. And all of a sudden, it just clicked for her. Right. And so I don't know if she started getting help or seeking some, I don't know what that situation
Mm-hmm.
was, but she's no longer in the picture. And, I just feel that people are doing whatever they want nowadays and putting a definition to it and calling it okay. Okay. Um,
That's what it is.
I just don't understand how, and reading all this, Coach Mo, I was exhausted reading it, because I'm like, I have one husband. I cannot imagine trying to
Girl,
have more than one child. Please, get somebody else to do it, because it's too draining.
it is. It is.
Like it sounds like a lot of
It
work.
is.
It just sounds like a lot of work, a lot of juggling, a lot of trying to please more than one person. That's exhausting. Um, and for the women, I pray for them. When I watch, people are like, why do you watch these shows? Because I'm interested in why people do what they do and the decisions they make, and watch and see, because I can read through people's body language and stuff like that. So I watch these shows and I'm like, these people are not really happy. They're accepting it.
And
they're accepting.
And my thing for your answer is, you want to be the solution to someone's problem.
Exactly.
Because this is a problem. And like I said, it wasn't a problem for me at first because I didn't realize, and I honestly, I did not realize what I was doing because I was so traumatized. And that may be some of the issue. These women may be traumatized. They may not know what they're doing at the time. I'm not making an excuse for it at all.
Right.
But I know what happened to me. I know what triggered me, and I know what made me stop. When you, like the woman who walked away, when she gets sick and tired of herself, sick and tired of seeing the daily routine, being in the routine, being affected of the situation, it makes you aware. It's like a slap in the face, like, wake up. This is what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
The awakening. Yep. The awakening. And that's the moment. And again, I'm not bashing people that have done this or in this relationships, these types of relationships. If you contact us and let us know if we're not understanding something, please. But to me, emotionally and mentally, it can't be good. It just can't. And some people are like, oh well, I'm happy, I don't have to, we love each other, and we love each other that much that we're willing to do things for each other that sometimes makes us uncomfortable. Well, if it's constantly making you uncomfortable,
it's not okay.
It's doing something to your emotional health. And that's not good. So again, do you have free will? Do what you want to do. But I just didn't understand where all these definitions came from and who approved them and was like, let's put this up here and say this is what we're calling this category. Like, I think we're just so accepting of things nowadays that are not for our good all the time. And I don't know if we're doing that just to please the majority of people. But I stand my ground, and I'm just telling you that to me, this sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting. It is exhausting.
It sounds very exhausting. Like, it's more responsibility on you. It's accepting things that may make you feel uncomfortable. She said it out of her own mouth. I get jealous. I don't always like being in this situation. Then why are you still in it? And at the time, like you said, you don't always see clearly. Right? You're willing to,
and she may
put other people before yourself.
Right. And also she may think that's all that she has. That's why I say it goes back to the trauma, the triggers. What happened to her to make her feel or even want to be in a relationship like that? It always stems from the root cause of what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing. And some people can say, oh, well, nothing happened to me, I just like it. Okay. I beg to differ.
Yeah.
You didn't just wake up one day and say, oh, I want to be in a multi-relationship or a multi-sexual orgy or whatever. This is, to me, I'm going to say it multiple times. This is an organic and an orgy situation.
Yeah, because I saw another another couples on TikTok. I cannot remember their names, and he lives with 3 other.
I saw that,
and they all have kids. You saw it, and they're always in the kitchen. He's cooking or what have you. He's the cook of the house, and I pay attention, and what he said in the camera was like, it is exhausting, trust me. I just try to please them all. And they started laughing. And I'm like, he's not joking. But you all, and I think honestly for him, it's a lot of financial gain because they live in a big, beautiful house, and they're able to have these things all together because they all work and this and that. Is it worth it though? You got to ask yourself that sometimes. Is it worth it?
Not to lose your
I can only
energy, your
imagine.
time, your
Yeah. Yeah.
your emotions. If something is
Right.
exhausting you, that means that you have nothing left to give.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna definitely look into more of this because I'm just that type of person. I love to research
Mm-hmm.
things. If I come across someone that would love to come up on this show and talk about it, that is in this type of one of these types of relationships, or they're still currently in one of these relationships, I would love for them to come on the show because I have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
questions. Um, Not to attack them,
Not
not
at all.
to bash. I'm not into that. I just want to know their true feelings and thoughts
And to
about it,
get a better
and why
understanding.
they're in this type. Exactly. Exactly. So stay tuned for that because I'm on the search for that. And we'll definitely talk about it. But I wanted to ask you, Coach Mo, because there's two other types of relationships up here that I thought was very, very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. And we've heard of one of them. Actually, we heard of both of them a lot.
Okay.
And I want to know your thoughts on it too, because I have mine. And one of them is friends with benefits. Okay, according to the definition, it says a friends with benefits situation is not exactly a relationship. It is a relationship in which two people agree to be intimate, but with no strings attached. In this situation, here's the thing that got
Mm-hmm.
me. In this situation, it says there should be no romantic feelings involved.
So basically,
You are not boyfriend and girlfriend, and you are not exclusive.
we just having sex. We're sex partners. You
Yeah,
call me up.
basically meeting each other's needs.
Exactly. Meet me in room
Yeah.
222. That's basically what it is. I don't say I love
Here we go.
you.
You know where the key is. You know where the key is. Just come on in.
Come. The door's open. I'm gonna leave the door wide open. I think that's how the song goes. I'm gonna leave the door open because it's always open and available for you.
But see, here's the thing about feelings and emotions. You can't dictate to them when they're going to turn on and how they're going to turn off. It just doesn't happen that way, and that's why I don't understand. Like, okay, maybe because I'm older now, maybe I thought a little bit differently when I was younger. I don't know. I never asked my young self that question, but this goes on a lot. You can do what you want to do. I'm just saying, be prepared for an outcome that you may not have wanted, right? Because like I said, emotions don't have a turn on and turn off switch. So especially women, you have to be very careful because that friends with benefits can switch really quick, and your expectations of that person can change. That's all I'm saying. And that person may not be willing or want to give you or meet those expectations that you may have. So be careful. Just know that there's a consequence to every action. That's all I'm saying. What do you think, Coach
That is so true because, like you said, emotions don't have a automatic on and off setting. They come, they go, and they stay. So what I'm hearing is Joe Blow and Sue can hook up at any time of the week, the month, and that's okay. However, what if he doesn't want or is not available for the hookup? Will she be ticked off? Will her emotions fly or flare up? See, friends with benefits, that's a tricky title because, like you said, emotions are involved. I don't care if they are made aware of or not. People still have feelings, and 9 times out of 10, if you're inside of me, I'm on top of you, we gonna catch some kind of feelings. That's just how life goes.
Okay. Soul ties are real.
Yeah.
Soul ties are real. And then what happens when either one of you meet someone that you're interested in and you're gonna go into a relationship with these
Right.
people? What happens with the so now you just drop the benefits and you're still friends? I don't know how you go back to
Yeah,
that.
that's
I don't know.
that's not
Emotionally
gonna
that's
work
kind of
out.
yeah.
Because in the back of
Yeah.
one person's mind is going to be like how they started the relationship or how they started the
Mhm.
friends with benefits, and they're going to
Mhm.
constantly think about that into the relationship, so it's not going to work out.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Right. Right. And what is this? Friends with benefits. Like that whole category. Friends with what's the benefit? We
You
talk about
laying it
and shorts
down,
playing.
you laying it down whenever I want you to, or I mean,
the
what
sex?
is this
Yeah,
about?
the sex is the benefit.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay, so you
that's the
couldn't find
benefit.
anybody
That's
else,
the golden ticket.
right? Sis, you couldn't find somebody else that wasn't your friend or my
Mm-hmm.
boy. You
Yeah.
couldn't find somebody else that I don't get that. So it's something about each other that you're attracted to. And yeah, you could say it's just the sex, but I don't feel that because I feel like you do have to have some type of
Mm-hmm.
connection to even want to continue to have these benefits, quote unquote. So that whole category can be a little tricky. So guys, just be careful. I'm just saying. I've seen it. I've seen it happen so many times. But and then you guess what? You may have the friends with benefits, but when it goes left, you don't have a friend anymore. So you have to say what's more valuable, our friendship or the couple of minutes of sex that we're gonna have.
And
You know what I'm
some can
saying?
last a couple
So
hours. So hey.
well, listen, that's intimacy. I mean, that's foreplay and all that other stuff. But the real stuff,
Right.
unless they taking something, I'm just saying. But y'all, we love to laugh,
Oh
we
yeah.
love to play.
Oh yeah.
So you already know us by now. But this last one, and then you can tell me what you think about it. Do you think they work? Long distance relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So it says a long distance relationship can really test the strongest of relationships. This is when two people are in a relationship, but they live far away from each other. Do you think these type of relationships can last?
It depends. It depends on
Mm-hmm.
the commitment, on
Mm-hmm.
the person. It depends on um, the trust level. So if John and I know that we trust each other enough
Mm-hmm.
to have a long distance relationship, and I feel that
Mm-hmm.
John is responsible enough to hold my trust in his hand and vice versa, it might work out. But
Mm-hmm.
if I know John has a left eye that's always seeking somebody else, or I know his
Mm-hmm.
flesh is weak and I know his heart is good, but
Mm-hmm.
his flesh is weaker than his heart, it's not going to work out. It's not.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's
my
difficult. It
answer
becomes very
9 times
difficult.
out of 10 is just not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've known of some couples and even treated some couples like this. It depends, I think, solely on each individual situation, right? It depends on. I know of a couple that they had a long distance relationship, but there was a time limit on when they would move to either one of the
Mm-hmm.
locations, right? So if you have an intent in mind, then that can become a little less
Right.
complicated. However, we talked about it before. Humans have their needs, and I knew of a couple also that I had treated for premarital counseling, and they did live in two different separate little states
Mm-hmm.
actually, and they're married now, praise God. But they had an understanding, which was I found to be very interesting, which kind of correlates to what we talked
Mm-hmm.
about today. And they talked about being honest with
Right.
each other, and when they had those feelings of those needs, and we know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about, and either one of them were not able to accommodate, they had an understanding that they had to first tell one another and it had to be okayed by the other person. And I said to them, this is a dangerous
Oh,
game you guys are
okay, for
playing. I'm
what?
not telling you.
Okay.
I'm not telling you it's wrong. Okay for them to fulfill those needs
Oh,
with
wow.
someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. And I said, that's a very dangerous game because, like I said, emotions are not something you can turn on and turn off. And if you know what those consequences are of that choice that you made and you're okay with it, then that's fine. That's what you choose to do in your relationship. You know, again, they're married now, but my question in my head was, what if even though you are together, those needs still aren't being met? Do you feel like you need to tell your partner now that you guys are married and that you guys are going to say, okay? Have you established that? We talked about that. They never even thought about that. They never thought about. I said, so if you open that door and say okay to that now, when you get married, is that something you talked about? This, it's ending with our dating. Like, don't think you're going to do this when we get married. Have you had this discussion? They had not. And so this is what I'm saying, where you have to sit down and really think about all the consequences. Think about the things that you're going to accept and not accept. And you guys have to talk about it, because never assume that a person's going to know it's over once we get married. Like, that it to me, it's just opening a lot of doors to things that you may not want to walk through.
But look at it like this, Coach D.
Right.
A lot of people don't even know themselves. So how can I even try to understand who you are and what we need? And that goes back to each episode. You have to understand who you are. Come in the relation completely whole, and then we can make a whole relationship out of it. I cannot come to you half broken and with all these little bitty fragile pieces and think that you can put me in and stitch me back together. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I just feel like a lot of these things are opening doors, and these doors are assumed to be shut once we feel like we no longer want to walk through them. So these are things that you have to have discussions about with your partner, because like I said, assuming is not a good thing to do. A lot of broken hearts come through assuming. And so we just be prepared for the decisions we make. No matter what those decisions are, there's always a consequence for them if a bad decision is made. So with that being said, there's a lot to think about here. There's a lot of conversations that could come from each one of these, which I'm quite sure we probably will dive into again. Because it's just a lot here. I'm telling you guys, if you go and do the research, your mind will be blown with the number of things that are out there that people can just use to justify their actions, right, and their decisions. But that doesn't always make it right. Okay. Just know that every action has a reaction and can have a consequence that you may not be ready for. Okay. And with all the things going on in this world, diseases and all that stuff, you just got to be careful. You have to be very careful and very mindful of the games that you play, because they're not always going to have a good ending, a great or a positive ending. So again, I thought this was very interesting. And I'm sure, like I said, we'll touch on it again. If you have comments, please leave them below. Or if you have any questions, or if you are in any type of these relationships that we talked about today, you can email us, right? Email us, let us know. Maybe, we didn't touch on something you would like for us to touch on. Go ahead and email us at V.O.C podcast22@gmail.com. Any closing remarks, Mo?
I'm just like, my mouth is like in awe. This was like a very educational episode for me. Because now, like I said, my eyes are open and I'm aware of the things that I've done in the past. And to know that I'm learning about my actions, was like, wow, yeah, you did some crazy stuff. But now that you are aware, you can educate other people. So this was um,
Yeah.
very surreal for me, in a nutshell. And I thank God that He graced me and truly covered me from those things, those diseases, those sicknesses. So, what I'll tell our listeners,
Right.
what I'll tell anyone who is in those relationships, just as you did, just be careful. Everyone does not have your heart or your intentions. Yes, you may be going into something with a good intention of your own. Nobody is ever going to understand the things that you think you understand. So be careful. Definitely, definitely, please protect yourself. If you are out there doing these things, please protect yourself. There is a disease still called AIDS. And I never really hear that word like we used to hear it back in the 70s and the 80s, even the early 90s.
Right.
I don't even think I've heard it in this year, these last 3 years, period. But I'm going to tell you, AIDS is real. AIDS is still blown
Yes, it
away
is.
out there. And just don't let it hit your home. So protect yourself. Um, Definitely seek help if you realize that you have gone astray and gone too far. Like Coach D said, we are not here to be judgmental. We are here to educate. We are here to even get educated ourselves. So I love you.
Right.
This is your host of Voices of Change, Coach Monique, and Coach D. You can take it. You can take it home.
Thank you guys for listening. As we said, this is episode 8, and we are just so thankful that you guys take the time out of your day to listen to us. Continue to listen to the upcoming episodes. Again, you are our fam. We love you. And again, any comments, don't forget, we're open to hearing your thoughts. We're open to hearing and sharing and learning. We are here to grow together. Okay, until next time, we'll talk to you soon. We're out. And that completes another episode of the Voices of Change podcast. We'll talk to you next time. Be blessed.